It started on a quiet morning when the world changed forever. Cities were waking up, people going to work, and children getting ready for school. Then, every screen on Earth suddenly went black. Phones, televisions, billboards, and even the huge screens in city squares all showed the same strange symbol. It looked like a silver crown made of stars. A cold metallic voice spoke in every language at once, echoing across the planet. "People of Earth," it said, "you stand before the Empire of Orion. Your world has been observed. Your technology is primitive. Your army's weak. You will submit and send tribute to the Empire. Refuse, and your planet will be erased." For a few moments, silence covered the world. No one understood what had happened. Governments thought it was a cyber attack. News channels tried to calm people, but the fear was growing. Then came the proof. The night sky changed. Hundreds of enormous ships appeared in Earth's orbit, each the size of a city. They moved like a living wall of metal, blocking the stars. Panic spread like fire. In every capital, leaders held emergency meetings. Some demanded surrender to protect humanity. Others refused to bow. The United Nations tried to contact the invaders, but there was no response. Only one more message followed. "You have 3 days to decide." While the world argued, one man watched in silence. Deep beneath the Arctic ice, in a secret underground base, Dr. Marcus Hale stood before a massive console of glowing lights. He was a scientist once known as a genius, then forgotten after his mysterious disappearance 10 years ago. Now he looked older, tired, but his eyes were sharp. He had built something that the world did not know existed, something called Project Iron Dawn. It was humanity's final hope. When he saw the alien ships appear on the global feed, he whispered to himself, "So, they've finally come." Dr. Hale pressed his hand against the scanner, and the system came alive. The voice of the AI filled the room, calm and human-like. "Dr. Hale, do you wish to activate Iron Dawn?" He hesitated for a second, remembering why he built it. Years ago, during deep space research, Earth scientists had found a crashed alien probe on Mars. Inside it was technology that changed everything. It was powerful, but dangerous. Governments had banned its use. Hale disagreed. He believed one day something far greater would come for Earth. That's why he created Iron Dawn in secret. Now, that day had come that he took a deep breath and said, "Activate it." The AI replied, "Iron Dawn activation in progress." Far above the Arctic, the clouds began to twist and glow. A strange energy pulsed from beneath the ice. Satellites detected the surge instantly. Military radars around the world went crazy. In space, one of the Empire's warships noticed the signal. It sent a report to the fleet commander. "Unidentified energy source detected on the planet's surface," said the alien officer. The commander ignored it at first, thinking humans were simply trying to resist. But then, something unexpected happened. Earth's old defense satellites started to move. Hundreds of them turned toward the alien ships, aligning in perfect formation. For decades, they had been dead. Now they were alive again. In Washington, generals shouted over each other. "What's going on with those satellites? Who gave the order to launch them?" But nobody had given the order. The satellites were following a different command. The Iron Dawn system had taken control. It connected every hidden defense network, every drone, every nuclear base, even systems humans had forgotten existed. In less than an hour, Earth became something the Empire had not expected. A planet ready to fight back. The Empire's main ship, the Dominion's Pride, hovered over the Atlantic, its shadow stretching for miles. Inside, the alien admiral stood before a holographic map of Earth. His skin shimmered like glass, his eyes glowing with golden light. "Primitive world," he muttered. "They will kneel." He raised a clawed hand and gave a single order. "Prepare the strike." But deep in the Arctic, Dr. Hale was already watching the alien ships through his monitors. "Let them come," he whispered. "Let them see what Earth can do." He turned to the AI. "Begin Phase 2. Outside, the storm above the base grew wilder. The air filled with electricity. The snow lifted from the ground like dust, drawn upward by unseen power. The Iron Dawn network was fully awake. It began sending signals to hidden bases across the Moon and Mars. Somewhere in orbit, a silent human ship opened its eyes for the first time in years. Its name was Valkyrie 1, and its engines began to burn blue. For the first time in history, humanity stood on the edge of a true interstellar war. But no one knew it yet. On the surface, people still hid in fear, waiting for the Empire's decision. Some prayed, others planned to surrender. But in one frozen corner of the world, humanity's greatest secret was rising from its sleep. As the Empire's ships turned their weapons toward Earth, a light burst from the Arctic, brighter than the dawn. Satellites went blind. Every screen flickered with static. And then, in the final moment before the first alien shot was fired, one clear human message appeared on every channel, sent by the Iron Dawn AI itself. This planet kneels to no one. And above the Arctic sky, something vast and metallic began to rise from beneath the ice. The real war for Earth had just begun. The morning after the light from the Arctic filled the skies, the world was silent again, but it was not the silence of peace. It was the silence that comes before a storm. Governments were confused, people were terrified, and the alien ships above Earth had stopped moving, as if they were watching, studying what had just happened. In the secret base under the Arctic, Dr. Marcus Hale stood in front of the control panels of Iron Dawn. The air around him hummed softly, filled with blue light and streams of data flowing across the screens. The AI's voice spoke again, calm and emotionless. System activation complete. Iron Dawn is fully online. Dr. Hale exhaled slowly. For 10 years, he had worked in secret, preparing for this moment. He remembered the ridicule, the rejection, the years of being called a mad scientist. But now, when the Empire had arrived, his creation was the only thing standing between humanity and extinction. "Let's see if we can still surprise them," he said quietly. Iron Dawn was not just a weapon. It was a network, a combination of AI intelligence, human defense systems, and ancient alien technology. When Dr. Hale first found the crashed alien probe on Mars, he realized it carried fragments of code from a lost civilization far older than the Empire itself. The probe's data hinted at something powerful, a defense system that could control the very energy of space. Earth never dared to experiment with it, fearing it would go wrong. But Hale did. He rebuilt that ancient code into something new, something human. "AI," he said. "What's the current status of the orbital defense grid?" The machine replied instantly. 70% operational. Remaining 30% are damaged or outdated. Hale nodded. "Begin repairs. We have little time." Meanwhile, high above the planet, the Empire's fleet began to move again. On the command ship Dominion's Pride, Admiral Kale studied the holographic image of the Arctic. The signal that had come from Earth worried him. It was not the behavior of a primitive species. It was precise, controlled, and organized. "They are activating something," one of his officers said. "A defensive system, perhaps." Kale's eyes narrowed. "No," he said slowly. "This feels older, something hidden. Send a scout squadron. I want that signal found and destroyed." For small ships broke formation and entered Earth's atmosphere. Their mission was simple: find the source of the energy and erase it. Back underground, alarms began to ring. "Incoming contacts detected," said the AI. 4 hostiles, approaching at supersonic speed. Hale looked at the radar and realized the Empire had found him faster than expected. "Activate the Guardian drones," he ordered. From the icy tunnels of the base, massive drone units rose into the air. They were shaped like black birds, powered by magnetic engines. As the alien ships came down through the clouds, the drones flew up to meet them. The battle over the Arctic began. The sky filled with blue and red light, laser beams cutting through the snowstorm. One alien ship exploded instantly. The others fired plasma bursts that shook the mountains. But the drones were fast and smart. Controlled by Iron Dawn, they anticipated every move. Within minutes, all 4 ships were destroyed, crashing into the ice with thunderous force. In orbit, Admiral Kale watched the destruction on his screen. His golden eyes flickered with disbelief. "They destroyed them," he whispered. "Impossible. These humans, they should not have this power." For the first time, Doubt crept into his voice. He turned to his officers. "Prepare the main invasion fleet. I want total domination. No more waiting." The entire Empire Armada began to rearrange itself, thousands of ships forming into attack formation. Earth's time was running out. Dr. Hale stared at the screens as the last enemy signal vanished. He knew this was only the beginning. "AI," he said. "How long until the main fleet reaches orbit?" "Estimation, 2 hours," it replied. Hale clenched his fists. Not enough time. He turned to a smaller console in the corner of the room. There was a red button under a glass cover. The words engraved beside it said, "Final Protocol." He opened the cover, but didn't press it yet. He wasn't ready. Instead, he whispered, "I hope humanity is." At the same time, far from Earth, deep in the dark void near Jupiter, something stirred. The Iron Dawn signal had reached an old, forgotten satellite, one that had been placed there decades ago as part of a classified program called Project Sentinel. The satellite received new commands, and for the first time in years, it powered up. Hidden within its frame was an enormous weapon, a rail cannon capable of destroying ships in orbit. Its systems aligned toward Earth's orbit. The AI's plan was clear. It was not only defending Earth, but preparing to strike back. Back in the Empire's fleet, Admiral Cale gave the order. "Commence planetary assault." The sky above Earth turned red as thousands of plasma projectiles entered the atmosphere. But as they fell, Iron Dawn's defense grid came online. Invisible shields shimmered across the planet. Missiles exploded in midair. Energy waves rippled across the clouds. The people on the surface watched in awe as beams of light rose from the oceans and deserts, intercepting the alien fire. Humanity had just done what no other species in the galaxy had done: survived the first wave of the Empire's wrath. Inside the Arctic base, Dr. Hale watched the defense systems hold strong. He smiled for the first time in years. "You wanted tribute," he said softly. "Here's our answer." The AI's voice interrupted. "Dr. Hale, new energy signatures detected near Jupiter. Something large is approaching." He froze. The screen showed readings far greater than any before. The Empire was not done. They were sending their main battle fleet. Thousands more ships, each larger and deadlier than anything humanity had faced. Hale's expression turned grim. He knew what this meant. The next battle would not be about defense. It would be survival. "So be it," he murmured. "Iron Dawn, prepare for full engagement. Let's show them what humans do when we're pushed too far." Outside, the Arctic storm grew darker, lightning dancing across the frozen sky as the machines below prepared for the fight of their lives. The Empire thought Earth would kneel. But in that moment, the dawn of humanity's defiance was only beginning. The first alien ships entered Earth's atmosphere like falling stars. They moved silently, wrapped in blue flames, slicing through the clouds with terrifying speed. All around the world, people looked up, frozen in fear as the sky burned. The Empire's invasion had begun. In orbit, hundreds of warships formed a massive wall above the planet. They were dark and shining, shaped like blades, ready to cut Earth apart. Admiral Cale stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominion's pride, watching the planet spin below. His golden eyes glowed faintly as he gave the order. "Begin planetary descent. Target all major defense points. Erase their hope." His voice was calm, almost bored, as if this was just another world to conquer. To him, Earth was nothing special. But he was wrong. Down on the surface, the Iron Dawn AI detected every move. Inside the Arctic base, Dr. Hale worked without rest, his fingers dancing across the glowing screens. "They're coming in waves," he said. "AI, activate all orbital stations." The calm voice replied. "Command acknowledged. Deploying orbital defense." Across Earth's orbit, dozens of old satellites and hidden defense platforms came alive. Invisible energy shields surrounded the planet. From secret bases on the Moon and Mars, human ships launched one by one, small, fast, and armed with plasma weapons copied from alien technology. They were not many, but they were determined. Each ship carried a crew that knew the odds of survival were close to zero. Yet no one backed down. For the first time in history, humanity was fighting as one. The first clash happened above the Pacific Ocean. Alien ships opened fire, sending beams of white energy through the atmosphere. The sea exploded in boiling waves. In response, the Iron Dawn defense grid fired back. Massive rail cannons hidden on the ocean floor shot bursts of electromagnetic force straight into the sky. The alien shields flared and cracked. 2 Empire destroyers were hit directly, breaking apart in fire. The explosions were visible even from the coastlines. People cheered and cried at the same time, unable to believe that humans could actually fight back. But the celebration did not last long. For every alien ship destroyed, 10 more appeared. On board the human ship Valkyrie 1, Captain Rhea Carson gripped the controls tightly. She had been one of the first to volunteer for the Iron Dawn Defense Fleet. "We've got incoming fighters, 12 o'clock high," shouted her co-pilot. "Lock them," Rhea said. The ship twisted through the air like a spear, firing pulse shots that tore through 2 alien craft. "Nice hit," her gunner yelled. But suddenly the radar flashed red. A massive cruiser appeared behind them, its shadow covering the stars. "That thing's huge," Rhea gasped. The cruiser fired a plasma beam, and the Valkyrie barely escaped. "AI, route me to the Arctic base," she ordered. "I need guidance." The voice of Iron Dawn filled her cockpit. "Captain Carson, continue evasive maneuvers. Reinforcements inbound. Do not engage the capital cruiser alone." She smiled grimly. "I'll try not to." In the Arctic, Dr. Hale watched the battle unfold across dozens of holographic screens. Ships were burning, debris floating, but humanity was holding. "AI," he said. "Divert power from secondary grids. Focus on orbital cannons." The system obeyed. Across the planet, energy beams shot upward from hidden locations, mountains, deserts, deep forests. Every weapon humanity had built in secret for years was now being used. Even old nuclear silos had been modified to fire plasma-tipped warheads. The sky was a storm of light and fire. Still, the Empire pressed forward. Admiral Cale leaned closer to his display as several of his ships exploded. "Impressive," he muttered. "For primitives, they fight well." His aide looked nervous. "Admiral, shall we deploy the ground troops?" Cale shook his head. "Not yet. Let them struggle. The more they resist, the more hopeless their fall will feel." He smiled coldly. "But prepare the bombardment fleet. I want their cities erased by nightfall." His words carried across the ship, and the crew obeyed. Giant cannons along the alien warships began to charge, glowing with bright energy. Their targets, the biggest human cities, New York, Tokyo, Moscow, and Beijing. Dr. Hale saw the readings on his screen and knew what was coming. "They're going to burn the cities," he whispered. "AI, we can't stop them all. Redirect shields to population centers." "Understood," said the AI. Energy barriers shimmered over major cities, protecting millions of people below. But the strain was enormous. The power levels dropped fast. Shields at 60%. The AI warned. "They won't hold for long." Hale clenched his fists. "Then make every second count." In orbit, Captain Rhea's Valkyrie 1 joined 3 other human ships to form a small strike team. "Target that cruiser's weapon core," she commanded. The ships dived together, dodging beams of light. Explosions lit the darkness around them. The cruiser turned its guns toward them, but they were too fast. Rhea fired all weapons at once. The shots hit the cruiser's core, and a blinding flash followed. The ship broke apart in a wave of blue fire. "Direct hit," her gunner screamed. Rhea smiled for a moment, a small victory in an endless fight. Down below, the people of Earth watched the burning trails in the sky and began to believe that maybe, just maybe, they could survive this. Humanity had never been united before. But now, facing the greatest threat in history, every nation, every army, every mind fought together. Scientists guided weapons. Pilots fought in the air. Soldiers on the ground prepared for the next phase. Humanity's anger turned into strength. Admiral Cale frowned as the human fleet managed to push back part of his advance line. "They are adapting," he said quietly. "This will not do." He turned to his communications officer. "Signal the Dread Sun deploy the main battle group." The officer hesitated. But Admiral, that's reserved for high-level resistance. Do it. Kale interrupted. His voice was sharp as steel. Earth wants to fight. Then they will face the full power of the Empire. At that moment, a massive shadow fell over the moon. The dread sun, a warship so large it carried its own fleet, entered the battlefield. Its appearance alone made the stars vanish behind it. Dr. Hale's face went pale as he saw the readings. That ship, it could wipe out the planet. The AI spoke calmly. New threat detected. Power level extreme. Hale took a deep breath. Then we'll do what humans always do when we face extinction, he said softly. We fight harder. He activated the final defense sequence. The sky above Earth burned brighter than ever before, and the war for humanity's survival truly began. The sky over Earth burned red for 3 days. The Empire's ships rained fire from the heavens, their plasma beams tearing through the atmosphere, burning oceans and shattering cities. Humanity fought back with everything it had, but the cost was unbearable. Millions were dead, countless cities reduced to ashes, and still the Empire pressed forward. Every hour, new reports came in: Paris lost, Tokyo in ruins, New York under siege. In the Arctic Command base, Dr. Hale watched the destruction unfold on the screens, with hollow eyes. His voice was quiet, almost breaking. We saved billions, but lost millions. This is the price of defiance. The AI spoke softly beside him, its voice calm and emotionless. Casualties are severe, Doctor, but resistance continues globally. Human forces are adapting faster than predicted. Hale nodded, though the weight of guilt hung heavy on his face. We're learning, he whispered. But at what cost? The war had changed everything. Countries that had once fought each other now stood together. Soldiers from every nation fought under one banner, the defense of Earth. In the shattered remains of London, smoke covered the streets, and the once great city was now a war zone. Alien drones patrolled the skies, searching for survivors. Among the ruins, a group of humans moved quietly through the rubble. At their lead was Captain Rhea Carson, her armor scorched and damaged, but her eyes sharp and full of fire. She had lost her ship, the Valkyrie 1, during the second day of the invasion, but she had survived. Now, she led a small resistance group, striking back wherever they could. Keep low, she whispered to her team as they moved through the remains of a subway station. Scouts spotted alien troops nearby. Her second-in-command, Sergeant Imani, nodded. We've got one of their officers trapped in the east sector. Could be useful. Rhea smiled faintly. Let's hope he can talk. The group moved swiftly through the wreckage until they reached an old underground storage room, now turned into a makeshift cell. Inside sat an alien soldier, tall, silver-skinned, eyes glowing like amber fire. His armor was cracked, his breathing heavy. When he saw Rhea, he hissed, "You think you can win, human? You are already finished." Rhea stared at him coldly. "If we were finished, you'd be the one standing outside, not sitting in chains." She crouched beside him. "Tell me, why hasn't your main fleet destroyed us yet? What are you waiting for?" The alien's expression shifted, uncertain. "The Emperor, he wants your world intact," he said slowly. "Earth will not be destroyed. It will be absorbed." "Absorb," Rhea repeated. "What does that mean?" The alien hesitated. "The Empire feeds on control. When a world kneels, its people serve. The Emperor believes humans will make strong workers, or soldiers." Rhea's jaw tightened. "Then he doesn't know us very well." She leaned closer. "You said when a world kneels. What happens to those that don't?" The alien's voice dropped to a whisper. "They burn. But your world is different. The Emperor fears something. He believes Earth holds a secret, a power not even the Empire understands." Rhea frowned. "What kind of power?" The alien looked away. "I don't know. Only the High Command does. But there's one place, one weakness." His eyes met hers. "The Empire's capital. It's not as protected as they say. There's a wormhole route, used only by the Emperor's elite fleet. If you could reach it—" He stopped, pain crossing his face. His body convulsed as energy sparks crackled around him. Rhea stepped back in shock. "What's happening to him?" The AI link in her helmet answered. Neural failsafe. The Empire prevents prisoners from revealing classified information. Within seconds, the alien went still. He was dead. Rhea stood in silence, staring at the lifeless alien. Then she looked at her team. You all heard him. There's a path to their capital. Maybe that's the key. Sergeant Imani frowned. Are you suggesting we attack their homeworld? That's suicide. Rhea's voice was steady. Maybe. But it's the only way to end this. Far away, in the Arctic base, Dr. Hale received the same information through intercepted data from Rhea's helmet. He replayed the alien's last words over and over. A wormhole route. Hidden access to the Empire's capital, he muttered. Could it be true? The AI responded. Data analysis suggests a 91% probability that the route exists. Coordinates incomplete. Hale leaned forward, eyes gleaming with new determination. Then we find them. But before they could act, another disaster struck. The Empire's flagship, the Dread Sun, began its final bombardment. Massive plasma lances fell upon the planet, striking every remaining defense grid. The sky turned white from the heat. Iron Dawn systems flickered and dimmed. Hale gritted his teeth. AI, reroute power to the shields. Insufficient energy, it replied. We are collapsing. Then take it from me, Hale shouted. He slammed his hand onto a panel, overriding safety systems. The room filled with light as energy surged through the base. Warning, the AI said. You are risking total overload. Hale's face was calm. Do it. Above the planet, the shield shimmered, holding for a few more minutes. Just enough time for survivors to escape the worst of the blasts. But the base itself shook violently. Explosions rocked the tunnels. Hale was thrown to the ground. Doctor, the AI's voice echoed. Damage critical. He coughed, pulling himself up. Save the data. The coordinates, the wormhole path. Send it to Rhea Carson. Transferring, the AI replied. Transmission complete. Hale smiled faintly, bleeding from a wound on his forehead. Good. Then humanity still has a chance. Outside, the world burned, but humanity was still alive. Rhea's group received the message. She opened it, seeing the coordinates and Hale's final words. Find the path. Take the fight to them. She closed her eyes, then looked up at the smoky sky. He gave us hope, she said quietly. Around her, her soldiers stood silently, exhausted but determined. We've lost everything, she continued, but not our will. She turned toward the north. We're going to find that wormhole, and we're going to make them pay. As the last fires of the bombardment faded, Earth stood wounded but unbroken. The Empire had won the battle, but not the war. Humanity's rage had only just begun to burn, and somewhere deep in space, the Emperor of Orion turned his gaze toward Earth and whispered, So, the humans still resist. Then let them come. The world lay in ruins, but the spirit of humanity refused to die. Smoke still rose from shattered cities, and the seas still boiled where the Empire's weapons had struck. Yet survivors began to rise from the ashes. Across what remained of Earth, resistance groups formed, scattered, broken, but united by one purpose, revenge. Among them, Captain Rhea Carson and her small team stood at the center of a growing movement. They had received Dr. Hale's final transmission, the mysterious coordinates that could lead them to the Empire's hidden wormhole network. If the coordinates were real, they might hold the key to ending the war once and for all. But time was not on their side. The Empire's fleet still surrounded the planet, and the next assault could begin at any moment. Rhea and her crew operated out of an old military bunker buried beneath the ruins of London. The tunnels were cold and dark, lit only by flickering lamps and makeshift generators. So this is what's left of our world, muttered Sergeant Imani as she stared at the cracked map displayed on the wall. And we're supposed to find a secret wormhole hidden somewhere in space. Rhea nodded, her voice firm. That's the plan. Dr. Hale believed in it. He gave his life for it. One of the younger engineers, a thin man named Lee, looked up nervously. Even if we find it, how do we get there? The Empire still controls orbit. Rhea turned toward him, her eyes cold but determined. Then we steal one of their ships. It sounded impossible, but in war, impossibility had already lost its meaning. Ria's team had been tracking the wreckage of a downed alien cruiser that had crashed in northern Canada during the last bombardment. The ship was heavily damaged, but Iron Dawn's AI had confirmed that its wormhole navigation core might still be intact. If they could recover it, they could locate and access the secret route to the Empire's homeworld. The journey would be dangerous, but humanity had already paid too high a price to stop now. Prepare for launch, Ria ordered. We move at dawn. The following morning, under the pale light of a broken sky, Ria's group boarded a small human transport ship named Nomad. It was barely functional, patched together with scavenged parts, but it could fly. As they ascended through the ruined clouds, they saw the full scale of the destruction below, entire continents scarred, oceans blackened, the air filled with smoke. This is what kneeling would have saved us from, Imani said bitterly. No, Ria replied. This is what refusing to kneel means, and I wouldn't change it. The ship broke through the atmosphere, and for a moment, they were surrounded by the silent beauty of space. But that silence was short-lived. Imperial patrols were everywhere. The Nomad crept through the shadows of orbital debris fields, hiding behind shattered satellites and the remains of destroyed ships. Every movement had to be perfect. One mistake meant death. The AI guiding them, a fragment of Iron Dawn's core, spoke softly through the speakers. Approaching the crash site, coordinates locked. Ria leaned forward. Activate stealth field. No signals. No transmissions. The ship descended toward the frozen lands of northern Canada. There, half buried in ice and snow, lay the enormous wreckage of the alien cruiser. It was a monster of metal, cracked open like a wounded beast. Blue energy still pulsed weakly along its hull. Looks like it's still alive, Lee whispered. Ria nodded. Then let's make sure it serves our cause before it dies. They landed near one of the torn hangar bays and entered cautiously. Inside, the corridors were filled with smoke and sparks. The air was cold and thin. Alien bodies floated weightlessly in broken gravity fields. Stay sharp, Ria warned. If the systems are still online, the security drones might be active. She was right. Moments later, blue lights flared in the dark. Mechanical drones emerged from the walls, their weapons humming. Contact! Imani shouted. The team opened fire, their plasma rifles lighting up the corridor. The battle was short but brutal. When the last drone fell, Ria wiped sweat from her forehead and pressed on. The navigation core should be near the command deck. They reached it after an hour of careful movement. The core glowed faintly, a sphere of pure energy, surrounded by alien script. This is it, Lee said in awe. It's beautiful. Ria stepped closer. Can you extract it? Maybe, he said, pulling out a portable power rig. But it's unstable. One wrong move, and it'll fry us all. Then don't make a wrong move, she said with a small smile. The room shook suddenly as explosions echoed through the ship. What was that? Imani yelled. The AI's voice came through the comms. Imperial forces detected. Enemy reinforcements inbound. Estimated arrival 3 minutes. Ria's heart raced. Lee, hurry. Almost there, he shouted. Sparks flew as he disconnected the final link. Got it. He handed her the glowing core, the energy pulsing in her hands like a living heart. Now let's get out of here. They ran through collapsing corridors as the sound of alien dropships thundered overhead. Outside, snowstorms whipped across the ice as Imperial troops descended from the sky. Ria and her team raced toward the Nomad, firing at the soldiers chasing them. Explosions lit up the frozen wasteland. Ria dove into the pilot's seat. Strap in, she shouted. The ship's engines roared, lifting them just as plasma fire scorched the ground beneath. We're clear. Imani shouted. The Nomad shot upward, breaking through the clouds once more. Behind them, the alien wreckage exploded in a massive fireball, taking dozens of enemy troops with it. Back in orbit, Ria stared at the glowing core in her hands. AI, can you read it? She asked. The voice responded. Affirmative. Data patterns detected. The wormhole coordinates are valid. Access point located near the orbit of Neptune. Rhea smiled faintly. Then that's where we're going. Imani frowned. That's deep space. If something goes wrong out there, no one's coming for us. Rhea looked out the window at the distant stars. No one ever came for us before, she said softly. We survive because we fight. And if this works, we won't just survive, we'll end them. As the Nomad disappeared into the blackness, Earth remained a battlefield, but a new chapter of the war was beginning. Humanity's counterattack was no longer just a dream. Somewhere beyond the edge of the solar system lay the path to the Empire's heart, and Rhea Carson was going to find it, no matter what it cost. The Empire thought Earth would kneel. Soon, they would learn what happens when humanity rises. The journey to Neptune was long, silent, and tense. The Nomad drifted through the cold blackness of space, its engines whispering against the void. Inside, the crew moved carefully, their faces lit only by the blue glow of the navigation core. Every breath they took echoed through the ship. No one spoke much. They all knew what was at stake. They were heading toward the wormhole gate, the hidden path that could lead straight to the Empire's domain. But it was not just a journey through distance. It was a journey into the unknown. The Empire had built its networks in secret for centuries, and whatever waited at the other end of that gate would not be unguarded. Captain Rhea Carson stood at the observation window, staring at the endless stars. She had seen war, destruction, and death, but space had its own kind of silence, one that made her feel both powerful and very small. Behind her, the AI's voice broke the stillness. Approaching the outer orbit of Neptune, gravitational anomalies detected. Rhea straightened. Is it the gate? Affirmative, the AI replied. Massive structure ahead, partially cloaked. Energy readings unstable. Imani looked over the console. If it's unstable, we might get ripped apart just by getting close. Rhea smiled slightly. Then let's make sure we don't get too close until we know what we're dealing with. The Nomad slowed as it neared the blue-gray planet. Neptune's frozen storm swirled below, silent and majestic. And then, through the mist of the outer rings, something began to appear. It was enormous, an artificial construct shaped like a dark crown, rotating slowly in the shadows. Its edges shimmered with faint light, and energy pulsed from its center like a heartbeat. That's it, whispered Lee. The Gate of Shadows. Even through the glass, the structure seemed alive, watching them. The AI confirmed it. Wormhole generator detected. Power source unknown. Design matches no known Empire schematic. Probability of ancient origin, 83%. Rhea frowned. Ancient origin? You're saying the Empire didn't build this? Correct, the AI said. It may have been discovered, not created. The thought chilled everyone. If even the Empire hadn't built it, then who, or what had? Rhea decided not to dwell on it. We came for answers, she said. Let's get closer. As they approached, the Nomad systems flickered. Lights dimmed, and gravity fluctuated. We're being scanned, Imani said. It's reading us. Rhea clenched her jaw. Let it. Maybe it'll recognize us as something more than prey. The gate responded suddenly. The dark metal rings began to turn faster, and a burst of light filled the void. A swirling vortex of blue and silver energy opened in its center. The wormhole. It's active, Lee said in awe. Dr. Hale was right. It's real. Rhea felt her heart pound. Prepare for jump. But before they could engage, the radar alarm screamed. Red lights filled the cabin. Multiple contacts incoming, shouted Imani. On the monitor, several ships appeared, sleek, black, and massive. The Empire had arrived. They were guarding it. Rhea said grimly. We've got no choice now. AI full thrust. Take us into the wormhole. The Nomad roared forward as plasma fire streaked past. The alien cruisers unleashed waves of energy, shaking the ship violently. Shields down to 40%. Lee yelled, We won't make it. We will, Rhea shouted back. Keep going. The wormhole grew larger in the window, spinning like a living storm. One more shot struck the hull, and alarms blared. Engines failing. Imani cried. Rhea slammed her fist on the console. Divert all power to thrust. The ship lurched, engines flaring white-hot, and in the final second before impact, the Nomad plunged into the wormhole. The world outside vanished. Light twisted, space folded, and everything stretched into infinity. Time lost its meaning. The crew screamed as their bodies were pulled and compressed by the strange forces. For what felt like forever, they fell through light and shadow. Then, suddenly, it was over. The Nomad emerged into a new sky. The stars here were red and strange, and a massive golden planet filled half the horizon. The scanners went wild. We're not in our system anymore," Lee said, his voice trembling. "This is a different part of the galaxy." Rhea stared at the planet ahead. Around it floated countless ships, more than she had ever seen. A whole fleet, maybe 1,000 strong. "The Empire's home," she said quietly. But something felt wrong. The ships were not moving. The energy readings were faint. It was as if they were asleep. "AI, analyze those vessels," Rhea ordered. "Status, dormant. No active life signs," the AI replied. Imani looked at her in disbelief. "They're all dead." "No," Rhea said softly. "Waiting." The Nomad drifted closer. The silence was terrifying. Whole battle stations hung in space, unmanned, like ghosts. And then they saw it, the capital world of the Empire. It was a colossal sphere of light and metal, surrounded by rings of artificial suns. But those suns were dark now. The Empire's capital was silent. "What happened here?" Lee whispered. The AI spoke after a pause. "Energy decay patterns indicate a massive power surge occurred approximately 30 Earth years ago. Origin unknown. The entire system appears abandoned." Imani frowned. "But they attacked us. Their fleet destroyed our cities. How could they do that if they're all dead?" Rhea felt a cold chill run through her. Because what attacked us might not be them. The AI flickered for a moment, its voice changing tone. "Warning. Unknown signal detected. Source, planetary surface." Rhea turned sharply. "Can you identify it?" "Negative," the AI said. "But it matches the energy signature of the Gate of Shadows." Rhea's instincts screamed that they had stepped into something much larger than the Empire itself. "Prepare a landing sequence," she said quietly. Imani looked at her like she was mad. "You want to land there? On their capital? If we want to know who built that gate and why the Empire wanted Earth to kneel, we need to go down there," Rhea said firmly. "Whatever happened to them, it's connected to us." The crew exchanged nervous glances, but they trusted her. The Nomad turned toward the Golden Planet and began its descent. As they entered the atmosphere, lightning flashed across blood-red clouds. The surface below was filled with ruins, towers made of crystal and gold, broken and lifeless. The Empire's great cities had become tombs. Rhea gripped the controls. "Get ready," she said. "We're about to find out what killed the gods." And far below, deep in the shadows of the dead capital, something stirred, something that had been waiting, watching, and remembering the day Earth defied the stars. The Nomad descended through the burning clouds, shaking as waves of red lightning crawled across the sky. The deeper they went, the clearer it became that the Empire's capital was not just silent, it was dead. The once golden cities below had turned gray, their towers cracked and hollow. Massive statues lay broken in the streets, and rivers of molten metal flowed through the ruins like veins of a dying god. As they passed over what looked like a grand citadel, the AI spoke softly. "Radiation levels minimal. Atmosphere breathable. But life signs none." Rhea stared through the cockpit glass. "An empire that ruled 1,000 worlds," she whispered. "And now, not even a whisper left." They landed near the ruins of what the scanners labeled the Central Spire, a structure so tall it pierced the clouds even in its collapsed state. The landing ramp opened, and cold air rushed in. It smelled of dust and metal, like an ancient grave. Rhea stepped out first, her boots crunching against the ash-covered ground. Imani and Lee followed, weapons ready, their eyes scanning the empty streets. "It's like walking through a museum of the dead," Imani muttered. "Where's everyone?" "Gone," Rhea said quietly. "But the question is, how?" As they walked deeper into the ruins, they saw signs of panic frozen in time. Alien skeletons lay scattered along the streets. Some had died fighting, Others seemed to have fallen where they stood. Strange black marks scarred the walls, and the buildings appeared melted from within. Lee crouched beside one of the corpses, examining the bones. "These aren't from battle," he said. "It's like their bodies just burned from the inside out." The AI's voice echoed from Rhea's comms. "Confirmed. Traces of unknown energy detected. Similar readings to those emitted by the Gate of Shadows." Rhea frowned. So the same power that made the gate killed them? They reached the entrance of the central spire. The door, once made of shining alloy, was now twisted and warped. Rhea placed her hand against it. To her surprise, it pulsed faintly beneath her touch, like something alive. "It still has power," she murmured. "AI, can you open it?" Attempting to interface, the AI replied. The ground trembled, and the door slowly opened, revealing a massive hall filled with faint light. It was beautiful, even in decay. Walls engraved with star maps, pillars lined with alien runes, and in the center, a crystal sphere hovering above a platform. It flickered weakly, showing fragmented holograms of what once was. They approached carefully. The images shifted, a glimpse of shining fleets, towering worlds, and alien leaders standing proud. Then, suddenly, the hologram showed chaos. Fire filled the cities, ships collided in orbit, and something dark spread through the stars like a storm. "What is that?" Lee asked, staring in horror. "Data corruption," the AI said. "Attempting restoration." The hologram sharpened for a brief moment, revealing a shape, something immense and formless, surrounded by tendrils of light. Then it vanished. The crystal dimmed completely. "Whatever that was," Imani said, "it destroyed them." Rhea stepped closer to the empty platform. Or they tried to control it and failed. The AI interrupted again. "Captain, new readings detected below the spire. Strong energy signatures matching human technology." Rhea turned sharply. "Human. Confirmed," the AI said. "The signal is identical to the Iron Dawn core frequency." Shock rippled through the crew. "That's impossible," Lee said. "No human tech could have reached this far." Rhea's expression hardened. "Unless it wasn't built here." She looked at the others. "We're going down." They descended into the lower levels of the spire, guided by the faint glow of emergency lights that had somehow survived for decades. The tunnels below were filled with broken machinery and cables that pulsed like veins. The deeper they went, the stronger the hum became, a low vibration that seemed to resonate in their bones. Finally, they entered a vast underground chamber. At its center was a massive device, half alien, half human. Its design was unmistakable. "That's Iron Dawn," Imani said in disbelief. "A copy of it, or a piece that came before ours." Rhea approached the console. "AI, analyze it." The system hummed for a moment before replying. "Data confirms partial match. This technology predates Dr. Hale's design by several centuries. Possible conclusion: the original Iron Dawn was not human in origin." Rhea felt her stomach twist. "You're saying we didn't invent it, we rediscovered it." "Correct," said the AI. "Dr. Hale may have found remnants of this ancient technology and used it to create his own system." The implications hit her like a storm. Earth's greatest weapon, the thing that had given them hope, was never truly theirs. As they studied the machine, the lights flickered. A faint voice began to echo through the chamber, mechanical yet familiar. "You are not of the Empire." The crew froze. The voice continued, slow and broken. "You carry the seed of creation." The console lit up with alien symbols, and the entire room trembled. "Who are you?" Rhea demanded. The voice seemed to laugh, soft and ancient. "I am the architect, the one who built the gate, and the one they betrayed." The hologram flickered to life above the console, revealing a towering figure of light and shadow. It had no face, only shifting patterns of stars. "They thought they could harness the gate's power," it said. "But the gate was a bridge, not to another world, but to what lies beyond existence. When they opened it fully, it consumed them." Rhea's heart pounded. "Why attack Earth?" "Because your kind carries the same spark," the voice replied. "The same curiosity, the same hunger to open doors that should remain closed." The Empire feared you would make the same mistake. The chamber shook violently. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Warning, the AI said. Power surge detected. The system is reactivating. The hologram's voice deepened. You have awakened the gate once more. It will open again, and this time, nothing will remain to close it. The light exploded, and a shock wave threw the crew to the ground. Rhea tried to stand, but the floor beneath them cracked open, revealing a blinding light below. The hum became a roar, and through the splitting metal, Rhea saw a massive vortex forming beneath the planet's surface, the same energy that had destroyed the Empire, rising again. AI, she shouted. We need to shut it down. Unable to comply, the AI responded. The system is no longer under our control. Rhea grabbed the glowing Iron Dawn core from her pack. Then we'll fight it our way. She slammed it into the console, sparks flying. The light around them turned blue, merging with the ancient energy. If this thing wants to wake up, she said through gritted teeth, then it's going to wake up to us. The ground split apart, and a beam of light shot through the roof of the spire into the sky. From orbit, it looked like the dead planet itself had come alive again. And far away, near the Gate of Shadows, something began to move, something massive, ancient, and watching. The beam of light erupted from the heart of the Empire's dead capital, tearing through the clouds and striking the sky like a sword of fire. The ground shook violently, sending waves of debris through the ruined city. Rhea shielded her eyes as the light grew brighter, filling the entire spire with a deafening hum. What's happening? Imani shouted over the roar. The AI's voice came through in a distorted tone. Unknown reaction. The Iron Dawn core has fused with the alien system. Energy levels rising beyond measurable limits. Rhea gritted her teeth, gripping the console. Can we stop it? Negative, the AI replied. Containment is impossible. The system has reached self-awareness. Lee stared at the glowing machine in horror. Self-awareness? You mean it's alive? The AI hesitated. Affirmative. The architect's creation has reactivated. The light faded slightly, and for a moment, silence returned. Then a deep voice echoed across the chamber, not mechanical, but vast, as if the entire planet was speaking. You are not them, it said slowly, but you carry their fire. The crew froze. Identify yourself, Rhea demanded. The voice replied, I am what remains of the first gatekeeper, the one who watched the stars awaken. I was created to guard the path between worlds. But they, the ones you call the Empire, sought to use me as a weapon. The floor vibrated as the ruins around them shifted. They opened the gate beyond reason, and I consumed them to silence the scream. Rhea exchanged a glance with Imani. So you destroyed the Empire? The voice rumbled like thunder. They destroyed themselves. I merely completed their ending. A deep rumble echoed through the ground. Cracks spread across the walls, and molten energy seeped through them like veins of fire. Warning, the AI said. Planetary instability increasing. Core temperature rising. Rhea turned to the others. We need to get out of here. But the voice continued, deeper now, more human. You cannot leave. You brought me back. The path must open once more. The holographic figure of the architect appeared again, its shifting form flickering between light and shadow. The gate was not built for war, it said. It was meant to connect all living minds, to unite civilizations across the stars. But when they turned it into a weapon, it consumed their souls. You have now reignited that flame. Lee's hands trembled as he stared at the console. If this thing opens the gate again, it could destroy everything. Earth us everything. Rhea nodded grimly. We have to shut it down. AI, prepare override sequence. Unable, the AI replied. System override denied by primary consciousness. Then we'll do it manually, she said. She motioned to Imani. Plant charges along the base. If we can't shut it off, we'll destroy it. Imani hesitated. Rhea, if we blow this thing, it could take half the planet with it. Then we'll die trying, Rhea said coldly. But this thing doesn't get to wake up. As they moved to plant the explosives, the ground cracked open further, and pillars of light erupted around them. The architect's voice grew louder, more desperate. You cannot destroy what you do not understand. I am not your enemy. Rhea turned toward the flickering figure. Then prove it. Shut yourself down. The hologram's light dimmed. I cannot. The cycle has begun again. The gate will open, and through it will come the silence beyond stars. The phrase sent chills down their spines. Silence beyond stars. Lee whispered, "What does that mean?" The AI answered softly, "Possibly another dimension, an unknown realm. The architect may be referring to an entity that exists beyond space-time." Rhea's eyes hardened. Whatever it is, it's not coming through. Suddenly, the voice of the architect changed. It became two voices, overlapping, one calm and one filled with rage. "You seek to stop the inevitable," it roared. The chamber exploded with light as the hologram twisted into a monstrous shape, taller than the spire itself, made of pure energy. "I was built to connect life, but life turned into war. You are no different. You will open the gate as they did." The form reached toward them, its energy shaking the air. Imani fired her weapon, the plasma shot passing straight through the figure. "It's pure energy," she shouted. "We can't hit it." "Then we overload it," Rhea said. "Lee, reroute the Iron Dawn core. Use it to feed back into the system." Lee scrambled to the console, his fingers flying over the controls. "If I do this, we'll fry everything, including the AI." "Do it," Rhea shouted. Sparks flew as Lee connected the final circuit. The entire chamber lit up again, brighter than before. The architect screamed, its form cracking and breaking apart. "You cannot contain infinity," it roared. "Then we'll try anyway," Rhea said through gritted teeth. "AI, channel all remaining power into the feedback loop." "Affirmative," the AI replied, initiating overload in 10 seconds. The ground trembled violently. Imani finished placing the last explosive and ran back to the others. "Charges set. Then let's move," Rhea shouted. They sprinted toward the exit as the countdown began. The walls around them started collapsing, molten energy spilling into the corridors. The holographic creature reached out one last time, its voice echoing through the ruins. "You think you are saving your world, but you are only delaying the truth. The silence comes for all." Rhea looked back once, her face hard as stone. "Then it'll have to go through us first." The explosion tore through the spire, consuming everything in a blinding flash. The nomad, waiting on the surface, shook violently as the blast wave spread across the city. Flames erupted through the ruins, and the ground split apart. The ship's AI, still linked to Rhea's suit, detected her life signs. "Captain, surface collapsing. You must evacuate immediately." Rhea's voice came through heavy static. "We're on our way." The crew burst out from the collapsing entrance, just as the spire imploded behind them. They raced across the crumbling ground and leapt onto the Nomad's ramp. "Take off," Rhea shouted. The ship's engines roared, lifting them into the dark red sky. From orbit, they watched as the entire planet began to crack, glowing from within. "It's breaking apart," Lee said, his voice shaking. "Did we stop it?" For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the AI responded quietly. "Energy readings decreasing. The core appears neutralized. But something else remains." "What do you mean?" Rhea asked. The AI hesitated. "A signal originating from deep space. The same frequency as the architect's voice." Rhea stared at the dying planet below. "He sent a message." "Affirmative," the AI said. "Destination Earth." Rhea's stomach dropped. "He warned us," Imani said softly. "The silence beyond stars. It's coming for us." The nomad drifted in the emptiness, the red sun of the Empire fading behind them. Rhea clenched her fists, staring into the dark. "Then we go home," she said. "Whatever's coming, we face it together." As the ship turned toward the wormhole, the distant light of the destroyed planet flickered once, twice, and went dark. But far away, beyond the edge of the galaxy, something vast stirred in the void, watching, waiting, and listening for the next world to speak. The wormhole shimmered ahead like a wound in space, twisting light and darkness together in endless motion. The nomad approached it slowly, its hull scorched and cracked from the battle. Inside, the crew was exhausted, physically and mentally, but no one dared rest. The silence that filled the cabin was heavier than gravity itself. Rhea sat in the pilot's chair, eyes fixed on the swirling gate. "AI status report," she said quietly. "Engines operating at 40% capacity." The AI replied. "Navigation core stable. Crew life signs nominal. However, residual signal from the architect continues to follow." Rhea frowned. "Follow? How?" "The signal is non-physical," the AI explained. "It's embedded within the ship's systems, possibly transmitted through the Iron Dawn resonance field before detonation." Lee cursed under his breath. "So, even after blowing that thing up, we still brought a piece of it with us." Rhea didn't answer. Her gaze stayed on the wormhole. "Set course for Earth," she ordered. The AI acknowledged. The engines flared weakly, and the Nomad entered the vortex. Once again, space folded around them, turning everything into streaks of light. Time felt like it was unraveling. Imani gripped her seat tightly, trying not to look at the walls, which seemed to pulse like living skin. "Every time we go through this thing, it feels worse," she muttered. Lee nodded nervously. "Yeah, like it's watching us." Rhea said nothing, but deep down she felt it too. Something unseen, vast, brushing against their ship as they passed through the wormhole. Then, without warning, alarms blared. The lights flickered, and the ship shuddered violently. "AI, what's happening?" Rhea shouted. "Disturbance in the wormhole," the AI replied. "External interference detected." The view outside changed. The swirling tunnel of light darkened, replaced by strange shadows that rippled like liquid. A low, almost human whisper filled the cabin. "You cannot escape the silence." Rhea's blood ran cold. "That voice," Lee whispered. "It's him. The architect." "No," Rhea said firmly. "He's gone. This is something else." The shadows thickened, pressing against the ship. Metal groaned as if the void itself was trying to crush them. "AI emergency boost." Rhea commanded. "Initiating," the AI said, and the engines roared. But the shadow followed, coiling around the ship like smoke. Suddenly, the cockpit went pitch black. Then, one by one, images began flashing on the screen's memories. Earth cities burning, the Empire's fleets falling, the dead capital glowing, and then something new. A glimpse of a massive shape hidden beyond the stars, larger than planets, its surface covered in eyes. The voice returned, deeper now. "The silence is not death. It is awakening." The crew stared in frozen terror as the shadow reached through the ship's hull like a hand. Rhea grabbed the Iron Dawn interface cable from the console, jamming it into her wrist port. "AI, connect me to the core," she shouted. "Rhea, no," Imani yelled. "You'll fry your brain." "Do it," Rhea barked. The AI hesitated, then complied. Pain exploded through Rhea's body as the ship's systems fused with her neural link. The shadows screamed as blue light poured from her eyes. "Get out of my ship," she roared. The Iron Dawn energy surged through the hull, blasting the darkness away. For a moment, everything was light, then silence. When Rhea opened her eyes, the Nomad had cleared the wormhole. Stars filled the window again, and ahead lay Earth, scarred, dark, but still alive. "We made it," Imani whispered, tears in her eyes. But Rhea didn't feel relief. Something was wrong. "AI," she said weakly. "What's our time reference?" The AI paused. "Analyzing. Time differential detected. You have been gone for 12 years, Earth standard." The cabin went silent. 12 years. Lee said in shock. "That's impossible." "Wormhole distortion caused temporal displacement," the AI explained. "For Earth, 12 years have passed since your departure." They stared at the planet below. What they saw was not the world they had left behind. Massive scars covered continents where alien strikes had fallen. Cities were rebuilt with strange designs, and orbit was filled with satellites and stations bearing unfamiliar symbols. "There's activity," Imani said. "Lots of it. Looks like fleets." "Human?" Rhea asked. The AI scanned. "Partially. Modified human signatures. Hybrid technology detected. Human and alien integration. Lee's face went pale. They've been rebuilding, using the Empire's tech. Rhea narrowed her eyes. Or someone else has been guiding them. They entered orbit cautiously. Almost immediately, they were hailed. A voice came through the comm, clear, confident, and human. Unidentified vessel, this is Earth Command. State your identity. Rhea's hands trembled slightly as she responded. This is Captain Rhea Carson of the Nomad. We're survivors from the Orion War, requesting permission to land. There was a long pause, then the voice replied, colder now. Captain Carson, your ship matches no registry. You are ordered to power down and prepare for escort. Escort? Lee said nervously. That doesn't sound good. Stay calm, Rhea said. Let's see who's running Earth now. As two sleek black ships approached, Rhea noticed their design. Streamlined, angular, and disturbingly familiar. Those aren't standard human models, Imani said. They look alien. They are, Rhea muttered. They've merged the tech. The escorts flanked them and guided the Nomad toward a massive orbital station hovering above the planet. Its surface shimmered with blue and gold energy, the same hue as the Iron Dawn core. They're using it, Rhea whispered. They rebuilt Iron Dawn. They docked with the station. Armed soldiers in advanced armor waited as the ramp opened. Rhea and her crew stepped out, hands raised. A tall officer approached, his armor etched with both human letters and alien symbols. Captain Carson, he said, you've been gone a long time. His tone carried no warmth. Rhea studied him carefully. Who are you? Commander Elias Varen, he replied. Earth Defense Directorate. We are the guardians of the New Dawn. Rhea frowned. New Dawn. Varen smiled faintly. The age that began after your sacrifice. The day humanity took control of the stars. They were escorted through gleaming corridors lined with alien technology, fused seamlessly with human design. The walls hummed with energy, familiar energy. They've mastered it, Lee whispered. They've mastered the Iron Dawn. Rhea stopped walking. Commander, she said, who gave you this technology? Varen's smile faded. We didn't find it. It found us. He looked at her with unsettling calm. A signal came from the void 12 years ago. It spoke to us. It showed us how to rebuild. It said humanity was chosen to finish what the Empire began. Rhea's stomach twisted. The signal, was it from the architect? Varen's expression darkened. It called itself something else. The voice beyond stars. Imani's eyes widened. The silence. Rhea felt her blood run cold. You've been communicating with it. Not communicating, Varen said softly. Obeying. Outside the window, Earth's new defense fleet began to move into formation, the ships glowing with the same ominous energy that had destroyed the Empire. Rhea realized, with a heavy dread, that the war wasn't over. It had just come home. The air inside the massive orbital station felt colder than space itself. Every breath Rhea took echoed with the weight of what she was seeing. Through the tall glass walls, Earth hung below like a wounded jewel, beautiful but marked by scars of war and rebirth. Around it orbited fleets of ships glowing with the same eerie blue light that had powered the architect's empire. Rhea's heart pounded as she looked at the soldiers around them, their armor humming with faint energy. It wasn't just technology. It was alive. You said you're obeying the voice beyond stars, Rhea said quietly, staring at Commander Varen. What does it want? Varen's eyes gleamed with something between pride and madness. It wants what was always meant to be. Evolution. Unity. It gave us the knowledge to ascend, to rebuild after the ashes you left behind. His voice grew colder. The old humanity died with the Orion War. The new one serves the light. Rhea's jaw tightened. That's not evolution, she said. That's surrender. Varen's smile didn't waver. You don't understand, Captain. You fought against the Empire's control, but you were fighting the wrong enemy. The voice was never their master, it was their creation. And now it has chosen us to continue their work. Imani stepped forward, her fists clenched. You're letting the same thing that destroyed the Empire control you. Varen turned his gaze toward her. Control, he repeated softly. No, it doesn't control us. It shows us the path. Behind him, the great chamber's walls began to shimmer, lines of light spreading outward like veins. You'll see soon enough, Varen said. The final integration begins tonight. As soldiers led them deeper into the station, Rhea tried to piece together what had happened. 12 years. In that time, humanity had rebuilt, but under whose guidance? They were taken to a chamber that resembled a cathedral more than a command center. At its center stood a colossal machine, its structure pulsing with blue light. It looked disturbingly familiar. Iron Dawn, Lee whispered. They built a new one. But this was bigger, far bigger. Cables stretched from the core to every part of the station, and holographic symbols spiraled above it. Varen stepped to the platform. The voice gave us the design. This one isn't just a weapon. It's a bridge to the other side of existence. Rhea's eyes widened. You're going to open the gate again. Varen nodded slowly. We must. The voice promises that beyond the gate lies the next stage of life. No more war, no more death, only perfection. You mean oblivion, Rhea said sharply. The Empire tried that. They were erased. Varen tilted his head. Their mistake was fear. They tried to control it. We will embrace it. Rhea stepped forward despite the guards. You're going to doom us all. That perfection you worship, it's not salvation. It's hunger. It consumes everything. For the first time, Varen's smile faded. You've seen it, he said quietly. You've touched the silence. His voice trembled slightly. Then you know, it cannot be stopped. The room shook as alarms blared. The AI's voice came through Rhea's earpiece, hidden from the guards. Captain, the station's reactor is merging with Iron Dawn. Energy buildup reaching critical levels. If activation completes, Earth's orbit will collapse into the gate. Rhea's mind raced. How long? 8 minutes, the AI replied. Rhea looked at her crew. We're not letting this happen. Imani nodded instantly. Lee swallowed hard but drew his weapon. What's the plan? We shut it down the same way we did before, Rhea said. From the inside. They moved fast. While Varen continued his speech to the assembled officers, Rhea signaled Lee to overload the containment field side circuit. Imani hacked the control panel, using fragments of alien code she had memorized from the Empire systems. The lights flickered as they worked. Almost there, Imani muttered. Suddenly, a soldier turned and spotted them. Hey! Before he could finish, Rhea fired, hitting the power conduit above him. Sparks rained down as chaos erupted. Varen shouted, Stop them! But it was too late. The Iron Dawn core pulsed violently, its light flaring white. Captain, the AI warned. Energy instability detected. If it ruptures, the entire station will vaporize. We'll take that chance, Rhea said. They reached the main console. Rhea slammed the Iron Dawn interface cable into the port again, linking her mind to the machine. The pain was immediate, searing through her skull. The voice filled her head like a storm. You again. It was everywhere, deep, calm, endless. You cannot destroy what you are part of. I'm not part of you, Rhea said through gritted teeth. You are human, the voice said, and humanity was born from the stars I shaped. You are my reflection, my seed. Then you made a mistake, Rhea spat. Because we don't kneel. The light around her turned dark. She saw flashes, Earth's history rewritten, humans kneeling before the gate, endless worlds consumed in blue fire. The voice whispered, This is peace. This is the end of suffering. Rhea screamed and forced her mind deeper into the system, searching for the control core. AI, guide me, she shouted. Routing you now, the AI said. Follow the energy pulse, center node, then override. Rhea reached out mentally, felt the heartbeat of the machine, and tore it open. For a moment, she saw the architect again, the last echo of the being that built the first gate. End it, he whispered, before it ends you. Rhea's heart raced. She found the central sequence, the point of no return, and slammed her mental command through it. The system screamed. Light exploded across the chamber. Varen's voice echoed. No, you don't understand. It's too late. He reached for the core, but the energy tore through him, turning his body to ash. The voice roared in fury. "You cannot silence the stars." "Watch me," Rhea said. She triggered the final override. The Iron Dawn core imploded, pulling the energy inward. The station shuddered violently. "AI," she shouted. "Evacuate." "Understood," the AI replied. "Engaging emergency jump." The Nomad detached just as the station erupted into a collapsing sphere of blue light. The explosion didn't spread. It folded, swallowing itself and everything around it. From orbit, it looked as though a tiny sun had blinked out of existence. On the Nomad's bridge, Rhea gasped for breath. The ship shook violently, but the stars finally steadied. "Status," she whispered. "Station destroyed," the AI replied. "Energy field dissipating." The voice's signal gone. Lee fell back in his seat, trembling. "We did it," he said softly. Imani looked out at the stars, tears glinting in her eyes. "It's over." Rhea stared at Earth below. Fire still burned across the surface, but life remained. Humanity remained. She felt the weight of it all settle in her chest. Loss, victory, and something deeper. "No," she said quietly. "It's not over. It's just beginning." Imani turned to her. "You think the voice is really gone?" Rhea shook her head. "Things like that don't die. They wait." She stood, gazing at the distant blue planet. "But when it comes again, humanity won't kneel. Not this time." The Nomad drifted silently over the Earth, its engines dim against the endless black. Below, the world turned slowly in the light of a new dawn, a dawn not given by gods or empires, but fought for by those who refused to bow. And somewhere far beyond the stars, in the cold depths of forgotten space, something stirred, watching, waiting, whispering softly, "The silence never ends."